Hi, this is Angel Bernice at projectdirectors.org Expert Talk. Today we're going to meet with Jonathan Goldstein about Agile project management. Hello, how are you doing, Jonathan?
I'm great, Angel. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Certainly. So my name is Jonathan Goldstein. I'm a PMP certified IT executive with experience delivering major programs and initiatives for organizations of many sizes. My specific focus lately has been in the advance of big data systems delivered as a central service to the enterprise. I'm currently the director of product management at my company and focus on product, program, and project management and setting up apparatus for that support continuous innovation.
Okay, so it sounds like you are largely product focused. How does this align with Agile project management practices?
Well, Agile is really deployed at all levels of our project, program, and product management in my group. Agile methods and practices are used at a product level to ensure that we stay closely aligned with our business priorities and make sure our roadmaps reflect the direction our business leaders require in order to remain competitive in the marketplace. Agile's usage of task ranking and close communication with business sponsors enables us to align our roadmaps and sprint contracts with key business priorities. And because of that frequency of communication required by Agile methods, we are able to allow the business to drive technology instead of the other way around. Program management-wise, we've divided our unit into really two main focus areas. We have engineered services and product enablement. Engineered services are activities that are aligned to onboarding new customers onto our platforms, whereas product enablement is activities that are focused on plowing continuous innovation into our platforms to ensure they remain relevant and enable the business to outperform its objectives. Again, the business drives the task definition here. So we have input at a detail view, but at a macro view, they are advising us on where we need to focus our innovation and our onboarding efforts. And with the priorities set at a product and program level, project management becomes simply an act of aligning our teams on those priorities, completing work breakdown structures, task definition with the right sprint, the right resource, the right time to ensure we hit our targets and enable our customers to meet theirs. As a central service provider, our customers are really the project teams who are aligning their project plans with our capabilities to meet their client objectives. So it's a delicate balancing act that without a framework like Agile, it would really be unwieldy to do all that our business requires of us.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about the day in the life now.
Absolutely. So our day starts out with reviewing our daily burn downs, which we track on a product level. There's still a bit of gentle reminding to our team members to make sure their tickets are reflecting reality, but for the most part, everyone does an awesome job of making sure our systems are giving us that feedback. Next, I'd say it's time for the morning scrum. These are simple 15-minute maximum meetings designed to convey status, but not drag on. We have an engineered services call, and we have a product enablement call, which is our way of doing a scrum of scrums. The result of these is published on our internal wiki and enables my manager to brief his executives quickly on what we're focused on. We do open up time post-huddle to dive into issues of the day, but really that 15 minutes is about just quick status. So with this prioritization, it allows our team members to really to focus their day. So meetings should be limited to only those tasks that have been prioritized. Meaning if you're in a meeting for something that doesn't help you finish your prioritized objectives, then you should really be questioning why you're attending at all, or if maybe you should decline that meeting. So it's a bit of brute force, but it sends the message to the enterprise that we have priorities, we have a process that we have to follow, and we stick to it. So at the end of the sprint, we run, our sprints are generally 4 to 6 weeks. At the end of those sprints, we run a quick 30-minute retrospective. So just as we had discussed earlier, where we're learning from the business, or we're learning as we dive into the features that they would like us to develop, we're also learning from ourselves, and we want to capture those lessons learned at the end of each month, rather than wait for the project to finish and then capture the lessons learned. We want to learn as quickly and fix anything that's in our way. So very simple. What's going well? What should we stop doing? What should we start doing? Very simple status, right? At the end of a scrum, or end of a sprint, rather. We also take time to review the objectives that we laid out at the beginning of the sprint, and take stock of, hey, did we hit our targets? Did something happen in the middle of the sprint that we weren't expecting? How do we handle that going forward? And then as Scrum Master, we package this up and prepare a sponsor presentation for the sprint review meeting. Like I said earlier, we try and always be demonstrating something, whether it's an idea, a product, a function, something that our sponsors can see that's value add and proves what we're doing.
Okay, so what benefits have you seen after implementing this unique blend of Agile?
I think the benefits have been manifold. For our associates, it's really kind of two levels. Our associates and our client teams, I think, is where we've seen the biggest change. And first and foremost, my management and I view our associates as just absolutely critical to our success. So when they're not happy, productivity goes down, recidivism goes up. And so really, before we implemented this system, there was a virtual ton of what we call context switching, right? So you start on one task, and then somebody hits you, and you got to move to that task, and before you know it, you've moved on 5 tasks over, and you forget what you originally started, and therefore not a lot gets done. So now with this project prioritization and this force ranking and the ability to see into your queue and know exactly what's expected of you, I think it makes their day more manageable. Frankly, empowers them. It empowers them to say, no, I can't work on that right now. It's not in my queue, or it doesn't have a rank. And so that it's just that they're more gratified. They can see at the end of the day that they've accomplished what they set out to do, and we help provide that buffer to them, to the business or to the client teams, to help them stay focused. So I think that the balance that this has returned to their lives is immeasurable, as well as the impact it's made on the work environment is equally impactful. Secondly, our client teams. So, as mentioned above, there was really no formal process before we started on this journey. So our client teams were free to influence the queue, scream louder, and so it became really quickly unwieldy, and there's really not a sense of priority. Now the system's really clearly defined. We have a process. We have a way of engaging with us. We have a way of coming in mid-sprint with your priority, and so we've all aligned on this, I think, ecosystem of how we function. And there's still a little bit of growing pains there, but I think what it's provided in terms of our client teams is the predictability. So they know when to get into our queues. They know how to influence the rank of their task that's in the queue, and they understand that we are, finite resources with a sprint defined, and that respect, that mutual respect, I think, is growing and internally as to how we function.
Okay. What solutions have you aligned in your PMO?
So what we use is a lot of products from Atlassian. Atlassian's our friend. We use their Jira bug tracking to capture all of our sprint tasks and metrics. So our daily burn downs are actually captured out of data that's in Jira. And we have a kind of unwritten or policy of, if a ticket's not in Jira, then it doesn't exist. So our team knows to really not be working on something that's not in Jira, and that's really helped quite a bit. So we also have another product from Atlassian called Confluence, which is a wiki, which if you're not familiar with wiki technology, wiki is Hawaiian for fast, and it's a fast online collaboration capability that allows you to rapidly put together web pages and convey information, and it allows you to be fluid. So it really maps to Agile methodologies so that you can, put a document out there and then just continue to collaborate on it in a group fashion. And so a really fabulous technology. I'm a big proponent. For project artifacts, there's still project artifacts even if you're running Agile. And we use an internal SharePoint to capture all those documents that need to be kind of version controlled and just a little bit more accessible. So on the code side, we use Subversion for our source code repository, among many other technologies that we're using. So.
Okay, and the last question, are there any key lessons learned from this journey that you can share with everyone?
Yeah, so as a future Agile certified practitioner, hopefully, I'll be taking the test this year. I really live and breathe the Agile Manifesto. And if you read through it, what it says makes sense. And the key thing that comes to mind is a truth that I found in there, which is, as we've brought every line of that manifesto to life in our group, we've seen dramatic turns in productivity. We've seen dramatic turns in productivity, client satisfaction has gone up, and most importantly, associate satisfaction, I think, has gone up. So it's possible that there are better tools to use out there. Lots of people in the PMO world, I'm guilty of it, get kind of caught up in the technology, like what tool can I use to manage my portfolio? And we're kind of sticks and stones here. But what I think has saved us time and again is our process and our level of commitment to our process. So for my advice, I think, to others is, as you're laying down these processes, the product management, and if you're aligning to Agile, find a process that fits for your culture and stick to it and live it. For example, when someone requests a change now, we have a series of tasks that get created in Jira. And we don't iterate too much further past one of those tasks, which is create an impact assessment. So very much like the PMBOK change management processes of the past, but just with an Agile spin on it. We're going to move quickly. We're going to get the information quickly. We're going to get in front of the business sponsors quickly. But we're still going to have that rigid process of what is the change, who's impacted by it, what does it mean in terms of level of effort. So that's just kind of one example. Secondly, I would say that the thing I'm most a proponent of is the prioritization process. So recently our group came to me with a due date that I had never agreed to on a project I knew nothing about and really couldn't understand why it was dropping in my queue. Well, they didn't exist to me. And our process allows that situation to occur, right? Sorry, you have to go get prioritized. So we were able to say that, and because our business leaders respect our process, we're able to function that way. So, of course, I did help them on board, understand the process and get input into our prioritization process, and so next sprint they're going to be on our prioritization. So they're happy, we're happy. We didn't have to stop mid-sprint and adjust for them. They know when we're going to get to them, and they're seemingly okay with it. Kind of one other thing I would mention is one of the Agile Manifesto processes is kind of collaboration over comprehensive documentation, and I think we've found that is extremely helpful in our business, where sometimes it's just better to talk it through than to put together a 50-page document that might become static or not represent what needs to be done. So that's helped. So I guess in closing, I would say Agile is awesome. We are huge proponents of Agile, but Agile works for us because at Merkle, the culture embraces it. The Merkle culture is a fast-moving, fast-paced culture. So for them to embrace Agile is not foreign. There's other organizations I've worked for where it might not have fit so well. So you have to be kind of cognizant of Agile is not a silver bullet. It's not a be-all, end-all. It's a framework, just like PMBOK, just like any other project management framework. At the end of the day, you have to understand your culture and fit this whole toolbox of capabilities that are given to us into what works for you and what's going to ultimately produce success. So.
Okay, thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing your knowledge today at projectdirectors.org Expert Talk. It's been a real case study of successful implementation of Agile project management, and I think it's a great example for all of our colleagues. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you again.
Yeah, muchísimas gracias, Ángel.
Thank you. Bye-bye.